Okay. So this is our time to begin our meeting once again. Today we're going to be studying the Genesis, and we would like to welcome all of our brothers and sisters in spirit who are studying with us, who are gathered with us today. Those who are here to help us to understand the teachings the best we can. And we all try to think about at this moment our Master Jesus, raising our thoughts as much as we can, so that we are with Him in our hearts and in our minds at this moment, as He is with us always when we are trying to better ourselves, whether we are studying to gain knowledge or we are working, doing the charity He has taught us to. And so, Lord, today we know You are here with us because You have promised us that every time 2 or 3 gathered in Your name, there You would be. We know we are not together in the same place, but we are together in our thoughts and in our purposes. And so we ask You for protection for the ambience where we find ourselves, and Your permission to begin this meeting. Thank You. Okay. So today we are going to be, we are still doing the introduction, studying the introduction, and we are closer to the end of it.
Yeah, the curiosity is this book has a long introduction. So it's so many, I don't know how many pages are just for introduction, but it's a long introduction. Just a curiosity.
Yeah. So let's go. So in spite of the part that has fallen to human endeavor in the development of this doctrine, the initiative belongs to the spirits. However, it has not been formed by the personal opinion of any one of them in particular. It is not, nor can it be, other than the results of their collective and concordant teachings. Because of this unique condition, it may be said to be the Spirit's doctrine, otherwise it would be only the doctrine of one Spirit in particular, and thus would have only the worth of personal opinion. So there is a comment at the bottom that says, when we use the term the Spirit with the definite article and capital S, the text is referring to the special group of spirits involved in expounding and helping to codify the Spiritist doctrine along with the author. So this is just the end of this page, Andre. Do you want me to carry on, or shall we stop here for a bit?
Just highlight that the spiritual doctrine is based in communication with the spirits. So none of any any information that we study over here and we study inside the doctrine of spirits is not coming from uh, just one person or one spirit. It came from a lot of spirits around the world. So as we know, Kardec received a lot of information from mediums all over the planet, sending sometimes the same message. And Kardec used to write down all the questions and send to those mediums and get the answers and compare and compile and make the books. So the authority of the doctrine, spirit, is based on the diversity of information from all over the world, from all over the place. So people from France, from Belgium, from Austria, from England, they used to send the answer that came from the spirits back to Kardec in France, and Kardec used to read all of them and understand. And what is most interesting is that some questions, uh, which is really interesting that I say it's most important, I say, is the questions came with the same answer from different places. So same questions were sent, and the same answer came from all over the place. Same uh, answer. So this is really interesting, and this is what give us that give the doctrine spirits give them the you know the consolidation of the truth and confirm all the information that comes from the spirits world. So yeah.
I think that one of the things that you have been mentioning is about the mediums that were in different places in Europe. They also didn't know each other. They were all working individually. So that we don't think that like Kardec was working with this group of people that knew each other, but only Kardec knew where they were. They weren't speaking to each other. Kardec was had to do that, isn't it? So that the truth was, so that he could really take the answers for as truth. Otherwise, it could have been like something that was planned, isn't it, or agreed beforehand by those mediums if they knew each other.
And different language too.
Yeah, exactly. They spoke different languages as well.
Yeah, because the sister foxes. I don't know how to say it, fox sister or sister fox. They
It's Fox sisters.
fox sisters.
Yeah.
So they used to speak English from
Yeah.
U.S. and they. I'm really sure that they didn't know how to speak French
Yeah,
or
exactly.
any other language. Until today, the U.S. citizen they don't speak any other language than English.
Yeah.
So yeah, they came information from Fox Sister came in English. So there were mediums in Belgium. They used to speak German and most of them French and English from the UK. So it's really interesting because the information came in different ways
Mm.
and going and converging to the same answer.
Yeah. Right. Let's carry on then. Universally and concordance in the teachings. And concordance in the teachings. Such is the essential character of the doctrine, the very condition of its existence. Consequently, any principle that has not received the consecration of the test of universality cannot be considered an integral part of such doctrine, but simply an isolated opinion for which Spiritism cannot assume responsibility.
This is great. Just a pause over here, just to understand how Kardec was building the idea. He was just picking up a lot of informations. So if most information came together at the same directions, that's okay. But if one isolated case came and one information that could appear that the most beautiful discovery or something marvelous, but came just from one source, from one point, was not considered by Kardec. Just something we need to bear in mind all the time, because if someone came with a new idea, very, very fantastic idea, but came from just one point, just one source, Kardec just put aside and say no. Let's wait for confirmation from somewhere. If not, this is the opinion from just one spirit or just one person, which is not interesting for the spiritism. So this is very interesting, because all the information came from universal point of view, which is the gave to the doctrine all the support to say we are uh, we are going to the path of the true and the certainty. So yeah, this is a very interesting point in very interesting paragraph.
Yeah, and this also, because we cannot, as we have read about the different places in which each one of us find ourselves in our evolution. This was, we know that many spirits could have tried to deceive Kardec, isn't it? But he knew that he had that very important point to follow, is that things had to come not just from one source. They had to be carry on coming from different sources, and they had to be in agreement. Otherwise, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, this is to answer the questions from Lily last time. She was asking about the how can I know that spiritism is the right thing to do, or right path to follow. Is that's the answer, because all the information came from different sources, and all the isolated ideas was put it aside, and you know a lot of researching was made uh, over the information that came from all over the place, and then that gives the doctrine a lot of authority, let's say that, to state itself as the right information. So we're not saying that the spiritism is the most perfect religion ever. No, we are saying that all the information that came until now is confirmed, and it's real.
Yeah. Okay, let's carry on. Furthermore, it is this concordant collectivity of the spirit's opinions passed through the criterion of logic that accounts for the power of the spiritist doctrine and ensures its continuation. For it to change, it would be necessary for the universality of the spirits to change their opinions and for them one day to contradict what they have said. Since the source of the doctrine resides in the Spirit's teachings, in order for it to succumb, the spirits would have to cease to exist. For the same reason, it will continue to prevail over personal theories, which, unlike Spiritism, do not have roots everywhere.
Another important thing, Lindalva, is the capital on the spirits.
Yeah,
So Kardec explained before that when he used the capital S in the spirits, it referred to a special group of spirits that
yeah,
was working in a codification. So, and he say for changing something, most of the spirits with capital S must agree for changing something. And so it was not easy changing something. It's not just Kardec say, I don't like this article, I don't like this paragraph, I'm going to change that, or I'm going to change this. So for changing something, even a phrase or a question, it was necessary the concordancy and agreement between amongst all the spirits, uh, all the spirits on that time, at the same time. So and he says another thing. It's very important. He say in order for in order for each to succumb, the spirits would have to cease to exist.
yeah,
So uh, most of people at that time trying to burn books and burn the idea, but the spirit still exists. So
yeah,
they came back and give the same information all the time, over and over. So if right now we stop to do any doctrine activities, if we forget the spiritism as incarnated people, the spirits will come back and teach someone else the same teaching, the same information.
yeah, yeah. It's very important. This information, isn't it? Um, because I think when if we really stop to think about it, this was a very incredible work that Kardec has put together, and so it's understandable why he had to work night and day to get where he did before he went back to the spiritual world, and it's because it's so much work that has gone on, and really it's as you were saying about about the changes, that no one can change anything because the spirits can just um, come and give the information again, because we know there will always be mediums as well, and there will always be spirits, and these spirits they will always be this group of spirits, I suppose, who are in charge of bringing new information to our planet, to help us to sort of evolve. I mean, we've already got. I don't know how long it's going to take me personally to sort of to understand what all the books bring. Centuries, isn't it? Because every time we read something, we understand it in a different way. So it's like, so we've got a lot of work to do, and to carry on doing, as even when we go back to the spiritual world.
Yeah, that's the different degrees and different steps we are. So
Mm.
as much as we studied, much more doubts came out. So for the simple spirits, for the ignorant spirits, just one sentence is enough. But for the intelligent spirits or advanced spirits, it's not enough just one sentence. We need to know more and more and more. And from one question came another questions, and another from one information. I need more information. So this is the part of the evolution and progress. So in this case, uh, as much as we study, much more we need to know. Uh,
Yeah,
that's why the philosophers say, "I know that I know nothing."
yeah,
So you remind me that also when you talk about this uh, the different ways we see when we read, every time we read, is because the doctrine is just a base, but the evolution, it belongs to us. So
mm,
we have the base of the study of the philosopher, the philosophy, the science and religion, which is the doctrine, but we need to progress over that. So
yeah,
understand more and learn more and feel more the doctrine. So this is not the last word. This is just the beginning.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll carry on reading a little bit more. Martha, would you like to say anything?
No.
The Spirit's book has seen its credibility solidified only because it is the expression of a generalized collective thought. In April of 1867, it completed its first decade. During that time, the fundamental principles of which its foundations were set were successively completed and developed as a result of the progressive teachings of the spirits, but none were contradicted by experience. All without exception remained standing, more alive than ever, whereas of all the opposing ideas that some tried to use against it, none prevailed, precisely because on all sides the opposite was taught. This is a characteristic result that we can proclaim without being vain, because we have never attributed such merit to ourselves.
Yeah, the spiritism has enemies. As any new idea, any good ideas has enemies all over the place. And as it's as the spiritism is just the light that enlighten our path. Most of there are some spirits that occupy themselves to fight against the spiritism. And I can imagine at that time, another religion, when they saw the spiritism and they tried to defeat all the information that came from the spirits. And, there were a lot of actions against the spiritism.
Mm,
Even the Nazis, they used to prohibit the spiritism, and the Catholic Church also, and they burned all the books, but they could not burn the spirits.
yeah.
That's impossible. And if they burn everything and then try to burn the idea and try to, as the Christianism, they try to kill all the Christians. They try to, burn the Bible. They try to burn the gospel, try to do everything against the Christianism. But the Christianism is still 2,000 years now, 2023 years now, at the same as the 2,000 years ago. How many ideas in 2,000 years got lost, forgotten? So I can imagine in 2,000 years how many doctrines came out and disappeared, and we have no notice right now. So, but the Christianism stays the same, and also the Spiritism right now is 200 years, keep the same idea spreading all over the world. Now over here in the UK, based in Brazil, a lot of new I don't know how to say new creation in other countries like US and France and yeah, all over the world. So when the idea is true, there is no way to destroy it or defeat the idea.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned something really important about no one can make light disappear, isn't
Yeah.
it? And Jesus was the greatest light who has shone in this world, and he didn't write anything. All he did was to leave that which he wished to leave behind for us as he left. And still today, he is amongst us. He's becoming more well known by us. And the more we get to know Jesus, the more there is to know about Jesus, because he was this greatest light that has reincarnated, his spirit who has reincarnated amongst us. And there is no way that Jesus is going to disappear, because he still exists. He is still around us. He's still everywhere. And so ignorance can try as much as it can, through those who are still not understanding the purpose of being alive, of having a life, and that is much greater than what we see over here, than what we have over here. They will try as much as they can, the ignorant, to go against it. But no one can sort of stay away from light forever.
Yeah, that's right. It happens the same with the doctrine in spiritism. So the people can try, they do. Most of ignorant spirits try to defeat all the features of the doctrine, the doctrine, but they cannot. Once they stop in one side, came out another side, third.
Yeah.
So they try over here, but they cannot prevail over the spirit. So it's funny. It's just like a try to keep the river. They try to keep the river in a dam, but the river, it's always raising, and then overcome.
Overflows, isn't it? Yeah, and because we also know how much a lot of people who, I mean, Chico suffered a lot during his beginnings, isn't it, in Brazil? And we know how much Chico has brought so much to sort of to make the teachings more, to explain so much more stuff that were more difficult to understand, because there are all the books of André Luiz that have talk about different things in different ways, and it's easier for us to understand. And so there are now, although these books are the books that are the main books and we should never stop studying them, there are a lot of complements to these books that are also important to read, because a lot of them, they will explain life, our spiritual evolution in different ways, isn't it? Because a lot of the books, they will talk about real spirits who had experiences, and I think that connects us a lot more with the sense that we are immortals, that we will never die, and that we are all walking towards the light that has created us. And so, no, it doesn't. I don't know. As we know, we are as well evolving. Our world has already evolved a little bit, and I don't know how much people are going still to carry on trying to say that spiritism is something of the devil. It's not good, because we hear a lot of that, but only because of fear, isn't it? Because it's quite a great thing to know that we are immortals. Uh, so
Yeah.
let's hope we will carry on having freedom to express
Yeah,
ourselves.
one of the difficulty that Chico and all the spiritists faced at that time was the police department. Most of the spiritists should have a registration in the police department to go to a spirit center, because they were considered subversive. So it was something that you know, the spiritists at that time most must be very courageous to face the police and make the register and say, I'm a spiritist and I'm gonna go to the spiritist center and follow my faith. Right now we don't need to do that, but I wonder if we had to do this kind of thing, if I would have the courage to do it. So
It's funny how all the religions believe in spirits, but as soon as you say you're a spiritist, then they step back a little bit.
just like voodoo.
Yeah, it is. It's true. I didn't know that about that you had to have a list with sign with the police to tell them that
Yeah.
you were spiritist.
In the 60s and 70s, all the spiritists should have a police registration in Brazil to go to the spiritist center. Otherwise, the police would go to the spiritist center and put in jail those
Oh.
who didn't have any registration. So it was subversive activity, they would say.
It reminds me of the early Christians, isn't it? Who were also like always persecuted, and they always found a way to keep their faith, to share it, and to practice it, isn't it? That's a very good question, what you've said, and that you wonder if we had to go through those difficulties, if we would have the courage to do it. And yes, I think this is a question that it's very hard to answer, isn't it? Thank God we don't have that to overcome anymore, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was my decision at this time. So probably yes, probably not. But what I know, it's very difficult situation because we can imagine ourselves normal citizen and working, going home, and then I discover a doctrine that I believe and make me feel better. Then I cannot go because if I go, I need to go to the police and make my registration as a criminal before I go to my faith. And then it's something that very uncomfortable for all of us. But yeah, this is something we don't need to face anymore. Thanks
No.
God.
And it was harsher back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was now it's quite open, but back then the police could walk into your house and just take you for no reason, type of, in a way.
Okay, so let's I'll read the little bit that is left.
Yeah, I think the last paragraph.
Yeah, the same scruples have presided over the redaction of our order works. We can truly state that they are according to Spiritism because we were certain of their conformity to the overall teachings of the spirits. The same applies to this work, which we can, for similar reasons, offer as supplement to those preceding it, except for a few yet hypothetical theories, for which we have taken the care to indicate as such, and which must be considered as personal opinions until they are confirmed or disproved, so that the responsibility for them should not weigh upon the doctrine. Furthermore, assiduous readers of La Revue Spirit might notice on outline of most of the ideas that are developed in this latest work, as was the case with the preceding ones. For us, the review is frequently a testing ground meant for probing the opinions of both humans and spirits concerning certain principles before accepting them as constituent part of the doctrine. And then there is the comment at the bottom. La Revue Spirit, a monthly journal founded by Allan Kardec, was published in Paris under his direction from January 1858 through March 31st, 1869, the day of his death. Copies of all Revue's spirits from the time of Kardec can be found in their original French. And then there is at the bottom, the email, the pages where you can find it.
Yeah, Kardec used the
I think
Spirits magazine, it's a Review Spirits, to test all the information and release the information that came, and then he used the Review Spirit to interact with all the people outside. So let's go back in time and see that at the time of Kardec there was no WhatsApp, no Facebook, no Instagram, any social media, no telephone was something easy to get, and the only thing he had to interact with the readers was a publication named Review Spirit. So there are a lot of information over there. Communication with the spirits, information from other planets, as Martha loves to learn about. And he used to publish that review periodically to see what was the reaction of the public, and before going to the book to publish a book itself. So this is something very intelligent from his part. We know Kardec was not working alone. He was working with the spirits behind, helping him, giving him support. But it was really smart. Another curiosity about Kardec: Kardec was not an ostensive medium.
No.
He didn't. He was not psychophonic. He was not psychographic or something like that. He could not talk or hear or write mediumship. But when he was working, and if he was doing something wrong for some reason, he was doing some wrong sentence or wrong question or something like that, he started to hear knocks, crashes. So all the time he started to work and hear something knocking in the door, so until he
close the door or window,
until he stopped to do what he was doing and do the right thing. So I can imagine all the scenario. He was working, writing something, and the spirits around looking at him and trying to drive him in the right way. And sometimes Kardec go and sleep road or something like that, and then the spirits start to knock and beat and make noise all the time until he come back to the right way, right path. Oh, it was really interesting.
I think the translation for the magazine is The Spirit and You.
No, it's
yeah.
Review. It's magazine.
Yeah, Review in French and magazine is a store.
Yeah, it's a magazine.
Yeah, I don't know, Richard, but yeah, it's a periodic journal.
And You.
Yeah.
So there are Spirit and You.
Yeah. Yeah, review in France is the same in Portuguese, revista.
Yeah.
Which is it's a periodic, it's a journal.
Yeah.
But it's weekly. It's a weekly journal, something like that.
Yeah. When I was when you were talking about all that Kardec lacked at the time, that he was putting this work together, it's very interesting to see how much distractions we have today, isn't it? And so many times, I mean, we didn't have films, we didn't have all of these Netflix and all sorts of things that with series that distracts us so much. I have a list of books that I need to read, and I'm really slow at reading at the moment because of the distractions, and I need to be called back all the time. Unfortunately, the spirits now know that we need to be responsible, and we need to be to have responsibility, isn't it? So they are not coming knocking anymore. Unfortunately, yeah.
That's why we are studying together the Genesis. Yeah. Otherwise, we could not read any.
No.
We are each other obsessors. So in a good
We
way.
are the ones who are knocking. Come on, we are.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's start. We are
Every
ready.
Wednesday.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
good. That's very good. We get there in the end, don't we?
Yeah, we are kidding, but that's true. We
Yeah,
need
it
to
is.
support each other to study, because otherwise we're gonna be distracted for something, movies or films, or any social media, and we will not study the right thing in the right time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Especially this, isn't it, Sandra? The right thing, because this is what the distractions take away from us, isn't it? It's from take us away from places where we are learning important knowledge that helps us to understand ourselves, understand our world, understand creation. And when that is, the more we learn a little bit more, better we can, the more we are responsible and can live better, a better life, isn't it? While we are here. And so I think it is very important that we have this time that is set for us to get together and to do something that is positive, that is good for our learning and for our development.
Yeah,
Spiritual development, because this is what we are doing, isn't it? This is the time that we develop spiritually, because everything else that any developments that we acquire here, that is material, that is anything we learn that is to do with this world, it's not really going to be that good for us when we live, when we go.
yeah. It's also interesting, Lindalva, that the distraction. How pleasant is a distraction? We can spend hours and hours in the social media, watching movies or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's really a sacrifice to study something, serious, and
Yeah.
something that is good. It's sometimes we want to give up. Sometimes we have fallen asleep. Sometimes
Yeah.
we're tired. But if someone says, let's see a movie, or let's watch a movie, or let's talk or use the social media, it's immediately we go and start to do without any
Yeah.
problem, any complaint.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And then we are asking, why aren't we more evolved? Isn't it? Why are we still in a world of trials and tribulations? Because we like distractions, isn't it?
We know the answer.
Yes,
Yeah.
We don't like
right.
the answer, but we know that.
We know it. Yes, we know it.
Watching Kardec on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Would be
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Okay, Martha, which book would you like to read from tonight? Thoughts, Our Daily
Yes,
Bread.
daily bread.
Daily Bread.
Yes.
Okay. It's message number 68, and it's a necessary awakening. Wake up, O sleeper, rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Paul, Ephesians 5:14. A great number of newcomers, or not to the Christian groups, claim to have great difficulty in understanding and applying the teachings of Jesus. Some of them find obscurity in the text, others persevere in the literary discussions. They become disturbed, they protest and reject the divine bread for the human wrapping which is required to preserve them on earth. Meanwhile, those friends do not perceive that this occurs because they remain dormant, victims of paralysis of their higher faculties. In the majority of occasions, the divine invitation slips by them through sanctifying suggestions. However, the distracted companions interpret them as sacred scenes, meriting praise, but very soon forgotten. The heart does not adhere, remaining in a deafened sleep, incapable of analyzing or understanding. The individual needs to ask himself what he's doing, what he desires, what purpose he is seeking, and what he is aiming for. It is indispensable to self-examine oneself, emerge from the animalism, and stand up in order to master his own path. Great masses, supposedly religious, are being conducted due to the daily circumstances as unconscious somnambulists. They talk about God, faith, and spirituality as if they were breathing in a strange, dark, nightmarish atmosphere, shaken up by incessant currents of the river of life. They roll in the whirlwind of occurrences, blinded, sleepy, and half dead until they awaken and lift themselves up through their own effort in order that Christ can enlighten them.
Interesting, isn't it?
Very
we were talking about distraction.
Yes.
Awake.
Yes. There is always time to do more, isn't it? I think this is so such a nice message to complement our study today, because yes, sometimes I wonder, that we are all asking for more proof, and I've been doing a little bit of thinking about why Jesus have already come. He has died on a cross. He left a life lived in the highest morality possible, ethics. He practiced the highest morality, ethics, inclusion, love, forgiveness, everything that we need to sort of internalize and to understand that this is what we need in order to go forward. But then he as he has gone and left us all those teachings, we can see how people are banalizing those teachings today. They are taking those teachings and they are just like, they are reciting them, but they are not from the heart, and they are using them to make to bring followers, isn't it? To get people to follow them, and it's like a blind, and then it becomes something so huge. It's like a blind, like guiding many other blind. And so spiritism comes and explains a lot of the things that Jesus didn't explain at that time, because we didn't have the capacity to understand. And yet we are still like, but is this really true? What else can I do to sort of make it more palpable, that I can materialize it, so that I can touch, so that I can then believe. And it's incredible, isn't it? And I think, to me, this only happens because we are still not ready. A lot of us are not ready. We are not really listening. We are not feeling it. We're not ready to change our path. We are very content with what we have got. And that is scary, isn't it? Because when we just think that what I have got is enough and it's only in this world, then it's quite hard to not think about preparing ourselves for when we are no longer here.
Yeah, this message is important not just for religion, but all the activities on human activities. So it's not, some people just sit and complain about the situation, say, I don't have that, I'd like to have that, I'd like to have a good job, or I'd like to have a house, or I'd like to have a good family, or something like that. But they just sleep and wait. This is not the recipe of the success. So
Yeah.
we need to wake up and fight for what we want in a good way. It's a good fight.
Work hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not overcome people or something like that. So we need to fight for what we want and what we believe on. So the Jesus teaching, it's good for connect us with God, but also it's very important for live among us. So as a society, as a citizen, we need if we follow the Jesus teaching, we would be a very happy world, because we would just work for the good of us and good
Yeah.
all the people around us, and we will never sit and complain, because Jesus teaches us to go forward, fight for what we want, and learn more, be more wise every day, be better every day. This is good for the society also.
Mm.
We don't need to be something else. If you follow Jesus' teachings, that's
Yeah.
okay. You're gonna be happy. You're gonna live a good life, and the society also would live a good life.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, and it make me wonder all the time, because we are so lazy sometimes,
Yeah.
and we just complain about this and about that. So I don't have this, I'd like to have that. I don't like the situation. I'd like to be in another place, but we never
I would like to bring my family for, I don't know.
coming over to visit
No,
to UK
no. Doctor
to
Spirit.
Doctrine Spirit.
Yes, but
Yeah, it's depending of
they're
the
not
people.
prepared. I don't know.
As Lindalva said, we need to ask them if they wanna be supported or helped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like a saying that I've said forever. Be happy with what you've got. Don't be unhappy with what you haven't got.
Yeah, that's right, Richard. Yeah. So yeah, we are approaching the end.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Jesus has left so much with us. We have got a lot of material that we can use to perfect ourselves. So we need to start working.
I can look for my family.
Yeah, I can speak to
You
myself.
cannot change someone else's mind.
Yeah.
So,
No.
this is very important because we also need to find by ourselves the right path. Otherwise, it's worthless. This is another teaching of Jesus. We are responsible for ourselves.
Exactly. This is what I was gonna say, because Jesus, um, Jesus, when he was with us, he just taught, didn't he? He just like he sometimes he said, follow me. For those, he may sort of felt that they were ready. I don't know, but most of the time he just taught, because he knew that when the ground was right, the seed would start sort of germinating, isn't it? And I think this is the beauty, and it's very hard for me to sort of be patient enough to sort of wait
Wait for the
for
seeds.
everyone to find their own, to get to their own time. And I know how you feel, Martha, but we have to leave them to get to their right time, because otherwise, if they come and they're not ready, they are going to be disappointed, and so are we. So
You just got to say, I'll see you
As an
when you get
example, my family started and stopped.
Yes.
Started the doctrine in spirit and stopped it. Right now, they are not anymore. They don't
yeah,
follow anymore any study.
and it happens a lot, but everything is fine. I mean, we have got eternity.
You just got to say to people, I'll see you when you get there. That's it.
Okay, so as we have come to the end of our studying time, let's once again connect with our spiritual brothers and sisters who are with us, and going back to connecting with our Master Jesus, who has reincarnated amongst us, who lived a life of sacrifices, who suffered until he died, hung on a cross. And your last words, Lord, were, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. And it's still today, many of us still need that forgiveness from the Father, because so many of us are still making very difficult decisions that go against the teachings that are the light to follow. You have invited us to love one another, Lord, and it's still today. We see wars in so many parts of our world, people killing each other, for they have not learned yet that we are brothers and sisters, and that we should not be killing each other, but learning to love, to respect, and to see each other as human beings that we are, all created the same way for the same purpose. And as we are connected with you, Lord, and we know you can see us, you can envelop all of us here present where we are. And so we know that we are receiving your light, your blessings. And we would like to ask you, Lord, to share this light and blessings with those who are fighting, with those who are still finding it hard to accept each other, those who are finding it hard to carry on living in a world that they don't see is right for them. For those, Lord, who have already left this world through their own hands because they could not find their place here, we ask that your blessings may find them, like you found the brother that has given you away to be killed. Lord, we know there is so much darkness still in our world, but we pray, Lord, that this darkness, as more and more of us get together to bring light, to create light, this darkness will dissipate more and more. And the atmosphere of our world will become easier to breathe. The air will become easier to breathe. And we, Lord, will be walking, learning to walk more and more hand in hand, trying to better our lives so that we can help those around us, so that we become less selfish, less proud, and more part of this universal family that we belong to. And at this moment, we picture our world in our mind, and we envelop all of it with light, with loving thoughts. And ask our Master Jesus to bless all of those who are in need at this moment. And we thank you, Lord, for being here with us today once again, for the study and for all the inspiration we received. We thank all of those who are part of this group spiritually for their help and assistance. And we ask you, Lord, to bless our week until we meet again. So be it. Amen.